Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive sudden shift in the NRL landscape. We're talking about a move that absolutely no one saw coming, at least definitely not with this level of precision. Out of nowhere, the PNG Chiefs have just pulled off a shock marquee signing that has completely blown up the status quo and sent absolute shockwaves through the entire sport.
Okay, let's dive into this. Will the PNG Chiefs become the most hated team in the NRL? You know, before this week, the Chiefs were kind of just viewed by rival clubs as a tomorrow problem because they aren't officially entering the competition until next year. Established clubs were totally fine just kicking the can down the road. But literally overnight, with one massive signature, they've transformed from this distant thought into an immediate, highly disruptive threat to every single roster in the league. Let's break down exactly how they did it.
Section 1. The Marquee Disruption. A seismic signing.
So this whole earthquake started with the signing of superstar Jarome Luai. In just 4 days, the PNG Chiefs showed everyone their serious intentions, completely shocking the sports world with the sheer speed and class of the deal. Jarome Luai is what we can call the ultimate domino. When an expansion team grabs a marquee player of his caliber right out of the gate, it instantly shifts the perception of what the PNG Chiefs can actually achieve. They go from being this conceptual, maybe slightly doubted expansion team straight to a highly serious, competitive destination for top-tier talent. We can really define this incredible momentum as the Luai effect. Luai basically acts as a direct 18-month conduit for recruiting. He's well known across the league as a dedicated family man, right? Well, by committing to Port Moresby and planning to bring his wife and 3 young kids along, he completely validates the franchise. He proves to the rest of the league that if a high-profile family man like him can confidently make the move, other players and their families have absolutely nothing to fear. He has essentially become their very best recruiter.
Section 2. The $4 million hypocrisy. Rival club backlash.
Now, naturally, a shockwave like this brings some serious pushback. Rivals have been incredibly vocal about it. You've got figures like Gus Gould and various rival club CEOs immediately hitting the panic button, declaring this an extreme advantage and a salary cap rort. There was just this undeniable, widespread panic over PNG's tax-free status and the significant financial and salary cap advantages they hold over the deeply established teams.
And this brilliantly illustrates the other side of that equation, $4 million. To put that into perspective, that is the exact payout every single NRL club received from the government as part of the agreement to allow PNG's entry into the league.
The commentators in our source material highlighted a really fascinating dynamic here, taking the cash but protesting the terms. The irony is that rival clubs happily accepted that $4 million payout at the time, fully knowing the tax benefits and structural advantages the PNG Chiefs would be getting. I mean, the rules of engagement were known from day one. But it's only now, when PNG has proven they can actually sign a massive star and become a genuine threat, that all these fierce complaints and panic have started rolling in.
Section 3. Perth Bears suffer. The other expansion. While PNG is out there thriving, we have to look at the stark contrast happening with the Perth Bears right now. It's like night and day. On one hand, you have the PNG Chiefs executing this pristine red carpet organizational strike. They've got a highly effective general manager and a massive marquee face. On the other hand, the Perth Bears are facing a highly concerning lack of structure and virtually silent marketing in comparison, and this is despite operating in heavy AFL territory where they absolutely need to be making noise.
The Perth Bears' current status is, well, it's severely alarming. They are just 6 months away from starting preseason training, yet they still don't have a general manager of football. And you could argue that role is more influential than the head coach or CEO. They've already signed around 14 players, eating up precious salary cap space, but they have no highly visible marquee face to attract more talent. It really raises a massive question. How can an expansion club succeed with such huge foundational gaps compared to their PNG counterparts?
Section 4. Poaching the Panthers. Targeting the best. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is who PNG is actively targeting next. With the front office firing on all cylinders, they're going after players from the Penrith Panthers, arguably the best team in modern history. The heavy rumored targets include Brian To'o, obviously leveraging his close relationship to Luai. Then there's Mitch Kenny, and actually a really fun detail from the source is that Kenny is an avid bird watcher. So the beautiful birds of paradise and cassowaries in PNG might legitimately be a unique selling point for him. And finally, they're heavily targeting star forward Liam Martin.
So how are they pulling this off so effectively? Well, the Chiefs GM of football, Michael Chamas, recently stated, "I knew the date he had to trigger the clauses by." Actually, what's wild here is Chamas used his past experience as a rugby league journalist to his immense advantage. In his old career, he literally reported on Luai's complex contract details, meaning he knew exactly when Luai had to trigger his options. Chamas used that inside knowledge to strike at the perfect moment, giving the Chiefs a massive behind-the-scenes advantage.
Section 5. PNG's 10-year plan. Building sustainability.
All this hype is incredible, but it's actually grounded in a long-term reality. As for all that intense pushback from rival clubs we discussed earlier, Chamas and his team are not fazed at all. He states, "We wear the noise as a badge of honor." The Chiefs management views all the agitation from established clubs not as a problem, but as absolute proof that they are making the right choices and building a genuinely formidable team. Simply put, if rivals weren't worried, they wouldn't be making noise.
In the foundation of this team's culture, it's deeply personal. To secure Luai, Chamas literally hosted a backyard barbecue for Luai's family, his own family, and club executives. Chamas even joked that he burned a few chicken wings before his dad had to step in and take over the grill. But it's this highly personal, intimate touch that perfectly sold the family club vision. It proved the club's tight-knit culture so effectively that it ultimately earned a personal text of gratitude straight from the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea. That's pretty huge.
So the crucial point is their actual timeline and metric for success. They know they won't necessarily be winning premierships right out of the gate. In year 1, they're going to rely on their tax-free status and marquee signings like Luai. By year 5, the focus heavily shifts to growing homegrown talent. And by year 10, their ultimate definition of success is having a 100% sustainable Papuan roster that doesn't rely on tax benefits at all. And hey, speaking of building that Papuan core, it's worth noting they're also currently in deep conversations to sign proud Papuan and historic try-scorer Alex Johnston.
Which brings us to our final thought. The PNG Chiefs have perfectly executed a marquee signing, they have a deeply structured 10-year plan, and they have successfully put the entire league on high alert. Looking at the sheer scale of the disruption we've explored today, is this the dawn of the most brilliant or most controversial expansion in sports history? Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and I'll leave you to ponder that exact question.